There are so many people out there who want to volunteer and find a way in which they can help.
We've got some brilliant people that have come out of the school system here in Attleboro.
You actually perform as an elected official the way people should.
There are no agendas. Nobody has any projects that they have to complete, but we're just sharing information.
Welcome to People It's Good to Know. I'm your host, John Davis, and tonight we have my friend Paul Jacques, who is the legislative agent for the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts. Paul, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I appreciate having you here. Why don't you start by giving us a little bit of background about who you are and where you come from?
Sure. As you said, my name is Paul Jacques, legislative agent for the Professional Firefighters of Massachusetts, PFFM. We represent over 12,000 career union firefighters across the Commonwealth. And I'm also, more importantly, a City of Attleboro firefighter for approximately 30 years. And I love the job. I love what I do every day. And the opportunities that being a firefighter here in Attleboro has opened up the doors and opportunities and windows, or however you want to phrase it. It's just been it's been a great life so far. So
now you grew up here in Attleboro.
Yes.
And so you decided to basically become a firefighter in your own hometown.
Yeah, it was luck of the draw. I wanted to be a firefighter. My mother's and father's side, they're actually from Warwick, Rhode Island, and all my uncles and grandfathers and those before them were all on Warwick Fire. So it was in my blood, in my ancestry. So then my father was a 30-year career active duty military, so I was a military brat, and I combined those two and went into the military as a firefighter. Mm-hmm. So I did that first. So I've been in since after high school, so well over 35 years or something like that, been in the fire service per se, whether it be in the military or here in Attleboro. And it's just been it's been great. I love Attleboro. I grew up here. Got to meet people like you. So it's been a good time.
Well, it's got to be interesting to see how firefighting has evolved over the last 30, 35 years that you've been involved. There have to have been quite a few changes that you've seen take place in that time. No,
absolutely. I mean, whether it be from our gear to what we wear, to wearing our air packs, and then obviously with the inclusion of EMS, whether it be now paramedics, BMS being a fire-based EMS, being a large portion of our call volume. So it's been quite a change, and it's listen to my parents always say, time flies. In blink of an eye, it really does. Can't believe just saying it aloud how long it's been.
Absolutely. Now, before being the legislative agent for the state fire department, you were union leader here for the Attleboro Fire Department and held a number of roles in union leadership for a number of years.
Yes. So as a firefighter, we're all career union firefighters. So we have a local Attleboro Firefighters Local 848, which I've been a proud member of as well for all this time. And I've been a union leader for 27 years of that time frame to hold all positions, whether it be local or state, from just executive board member to treasurer, secretary treasurer, to president as well, like you mentioned, to political director for the PFFM, to legislative agent where I'm at now. And it's been, but I always say the best part of a union is the member, so I'm always proud to be a member of Attleboro Firefighters Local 848.
And you said there's 12,000 union firefighters in Massachusetts?
Yes, we represent 12,000 career union firefighters across the state, approximately 250, say, of the cities and towns communities. We speak with one voice, so we have, like we mentioned, our local level, which is affiliated with our state organization, the PFFM, which is affiliated with our parent organization, the International Association of Firefighters, which has over 300,000+ in North America.
Oh,
so
it's amazing. As they say, there's power in numbers.
Yeah, and we stay together. We speak with one voice.
Right.
So it's good.
And for people out there that wonder, you're not really a partisan political organization. You're basically advocating on behalf of firefighters. It's not necessarily Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative. It's what's in the best interest of your membership.
No, absolutely. We're member-based. We're member-driven. So it's there's no political parties. We use the phrase "we support those that support us." There's not. I heard a political person say one time, "There's no Republican, Democrat, there's just firefighter. So, we advocate for our members' benefits, our health and safety, retirement, and, our livelihood, our well-being, and our families. Our families are a big portion of firefighter community.
So, as legislative agent, why don't you tell people a little bit about what your daily activities involve, what kind of stuff you're actually doing?
Sure. So, like I said, I'm an Attleboro firefighter. So I use the phrase I'm at the firehouse, and then I go to the state house, and then I go to the firehouse. So it's a vicious cycle. So, like this morning, I got off duty and then went up to the state house. So we have legislation that we file that, like I said, benefits, protects firefighters, and that comes from our conventions. Like I said, we're member-based driven. So we have the resolutions that different locals submit at these conventions and voted on by over 12,000 members, and then that's the base of what we file for legislation going forward. And work with our partners in the state house, like you said, whether it be Democrat, Republican, or whomever. Our friends in the legislature that file our legislation, and just advocate for that after we get it in the system.
It must be interesting with such a large organization, 12,000 members, just to get a consensus opinion amongst all the members. That's got to be a challenge in and of itself, right?
No, absolutely. So we have, it's just like anything. It takes a lot to narrow it down to where we're going to go. So we have an executive board at the PFFM that is broken up into 8 districts across the Commonwealth. So then there's a representative we call DVPs, district vice presidents, from each of those districts, and they're also elected. So we're all elected individuals. Every 2 years we get elected by those 12,000 members.
Right, picked by your members.
Right. Yep. So thankfully they keep electing myself and the rest of our executive board, and then. We get in a room, whether it be at the executive board level or whether it be at the conventions and or meetings. We have state meetings every month where we meet at a different place around the state every third Friday of the month, and 300 to 500 firefighters average come to those meetings. It's
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Attended.
In this day and age where it's hard to get a large group for anything nowadays, that's pretty amazing. You do that on a regular basis.
Yeah, monthly. I mean, our state meetings are comparable to what other state organizations such as the PFFM would hold on their conventions. And we do that monthly. So, and then our conventions bring thousands, so it's of firefighters. So, yeah, it's pretty
Now,
good.
do you find that the firefighters have different concerns and different points of view depending on whether they're from a small town or a large city or even different geographic parts of the state? Are there distinct differences in what they want you to advocate for?
Sometimes, but mostly, I mean, firefighting is firefighting. Everybody, we fight a fire at a small town or a large city, it's still fire. So it has the same problems, the same concerns and safety things that we need to look out for. So, like I said, we pretty much speak with one voice because you go to different firehouses and you'll find that it's
you hear the same stories,
same conversation. Like what they say, the streets may change, but the names remain the same, kind of thing. So yeah.
Now, what are some of the big concerns that your membership have right now? I mean, again, the state is in session right now, and they're working on passing legislation. What are some of the things that your members are concerned about at the moment?
Sure. No, we have a priority legislation. It's about 6 pieces of legislation filed in both the House and the Senate. They mirror each other in language so that hit it from both sides through the legislative process. But PTSD presumptive is that's something that's really important to us. Infectious disease presumptive. I mean, believe it or not, banging the tables on this for a long time. A lot of people that know me will hear this, but even with COVID, we still weren't able to get any COVID protections from the state relative to being on the front lines and being at a presumptive. So those are 2 big ones. Another one is PFAS. PFAS is a big topic, as you know, in today's world. So it's everywhere. It's in all of us. It's in everything. But come to find out, it's in our gear. The firefighting gear that we use that's supposed to protect us actually is harming us and adding to our reasons for getting cancer. We have occupational cancer presumptive already that we got many, many years ago, thankfully. And we're 60% higher chance of getting cancer than the average person. So, and we learned, over time that it's because of the things we're exposed to when we fight fires. But now come to find out it's in our gear and causing us cancer as well. So to bring it to a home front, if I give a little plug, thankfully, Representative Jim Hawkins, he's filed our legislation on that for us. Been a champion for us in the fire service and also for labor as well. So he's done that, and it's gotten some really good legs. If, as written, the way we wrote it, combining other states and even in the UK over in Europe, their language they have on PFAS removal from the firefighting gear, if passed as written, will be the strongest language in the country. And I'm always a glasses half full kind of guy, and I really think that we're going to get some good things done this session.
Well, it's great to be optimistic, and basically you more or less alluded to that. What you're advocating here in Massachusetts is very similar to what other firefighters either have or are advocating for in other parts of the country and in other countries as well.
No, absolutely. When I say we talk about the different firehouses, you go to the kitchen tables in Massachusetts, it's the same everywhere. You go to firehouses all around the country, you go to firehouses overseas, which I've had the opportunity to do both, and it's just, we're all firefighters, you know what I mean? It's all the same in union firefighters, career union firefighters. So it's we all have the same arguments, same topics, and same discussions, same difference of opinions, same opinions, and it works out well because usually in one community or another, you'll find a local that has already addressed an issue that you may have in your own local. So why reinvent the wheel? That's what the network and that's what those state meetings do, those conventions, and then whether it be in Massachusetts or with the international, that brings us all together to talk about these different things and realize, hey, I have that same problem. We handled that this way a couple years back. So then they'll talk networking.
And that's one of the advantages too, though, of having like members who have been around for a while, because a lot of times new people want to just reinvent the wheel. They weren't around the last time this issue came up, because unfortunately a lot of these issues fester for decades without any real resolution to the problem. Now, one of the things you mentioned is how so much more of what you guys do now is really emergency medical services and transportation, as compared to, we don't have quite as many house fires per se, or factory fires that we might have had in the 40s and 50s. How has that changed? I mean, obviously it requires additional training for your members to be paramedics and EMTs.
No. Obviously, we talk about over the course of just my short time on the planet, the advances in technology and firefighting. So obviously with fire prevention things, there's a lot of more safety measures out there that prevent fires. But don't be fooled, fires still happen. We still have a good share of fires, whether it be here in Attleboro or across the Commonwealth and the country. But in order to meet the needs of the communities that we work in, we're fire-based EMS, where we provide our own ambulance. We provide our own EMS service. And paramedics is obviously the top way you want to be in a professional organization, provide the best service. So paramedics is the way to go. So now everybody's a firefighter. Just everybody has different skill levels. It's all different skill levels of training.
Now, there was a period of time when we were trying to hire solely people who were already paramedics. Wasn't that at one point or another?
You mean here in Attleboro?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
And but somewhere along the way that has come and gone. I guess maybe just wasn't possible to get enough well-trained paramedics. Is that?
Sure. Yeah. No. Some believe that it's difficult to hire paramedics for whatever reason, off the different lists and stuff. So they have reduced it to hiring, whether it be EMT basics or just straight firefighters. Yep.
Okay. So what other things locally would you like to see the fire department do? I mean, again, besides representing your statewide organization, you're also an active firefighter here in Attleboro, and I know you don't necessarily speak on behalf of the Attleboro department per se, but what kind of things do you think that we might be in better shape if we did here in the city that we're not doing at the moment?
No, I mean,
I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, I hear you. No, each local has its own autonomy, of course, and as a PFFM elected official, I represent also, all 12,000, which includes Attleboro, and we have a great group. Like I said, I love my job. I love going to work every day, and the firefighters that we have here at Attleboro are an incredible group, especially now as time's going on and I get older, they get younger.
Yeah.
So we have
It's
a
funny
great.
how that works.
Exactly, I'm coming to grips with it, but there is it's a large young group and highly motivated firefighters and training all the time and doing things that benefit the community as well, outside of response, that we do every single day.
One of the things that I've found from talking to people who are firefighters is that they do all seem to like their job.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as if anyone just goes into that field simply because it's an available job or whatever. It seems to be sort of a calling. Oftentimes, their family members have been involved for generations. And, I think there's a lot to be said for people who enjoy what they're doing. I think it makes far more likely that you'll be good at what you do.
No, absolutely. It is you use the correct word. It's a calling. It's something that, they say if you love your job, you don't have to work a day in your life. So I would agree. Like I said in the beginning, it's just the opportunities that are there for the taking, and it's never the same every day. I use the comparison when kids come into the firehouse, or you see about it when we're out in the public, because firefighters are just like everyone else. We coach your little league, we work a second job at your corner store or wherever. We're just out in the community, normal people like everyone else. And when you see kids come to see the firehouse or see the fire engines, or even when they're passing by, the excitement that they have in their eyes. Now imagine coming to work like that every day.
Right.
Like that's how I look at it. It's just you have that excitement, and so it's definitely a calling.
Yeah, I've been fortunate a couple times to attend like open houses you guys have had at the fire department, and to see the excitement all the little kids express. That really is something to see.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who, young kids who are thinking about becoming firefighters?
Sure. I mean, just like everything else, it's a process. You want to make yourself most qualified. So here in Massachusetts, one thing to do is take the civil service exam. And as we talked, go get your paramedic. Then there's college as well. While you're waiting to get hired in a different community and picked up on a list, get your paramedic, go to college, just try to get involved, reach out to your local, fire departments and find out what kind of things they require. Everybody has different needs, different requirements for hiring, like any job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it comes down to really, you can never have too much education. No matter what field you're going into,
absolutely,
it's certainly beneficial. I mean, I'm sure you have, some members who have MBAs and all sorts of postgraduate degrees that, bring more to the table, right?
Sure. No, there's an educational aspect of it, and like you said, there's so much changing. Our job is changing every day. So there's always new things we're encountering. There's new things we have to learn about, new ways that we'll learn that the old ways may not have worked fighting fire certain ways. And now there's new ways of doing it, new technology that's developed that helps us in that and assists us, makes it easier for us to get in that environment.
Right. You're right. Technology has to have changed incredibly since you started, right? Like today, you can literally go online while you're on the way to the fire, right, and pull up the floor plan of the building you're going to, and be able to really assess what's going on before you even get to the location.
Oh no, obviously, like anything, computers have made things well advanced in preparation, and you can, now they're all in the apparatus, computers right there, and you can pull up buildings, you can, pull up streets, and if you wanted to even branch out, go into Google Earth and see it from above, whatever you need to do.
It's pretty amazing the things that have just evolved simply in our lifetime. So basically, you would encourage pretty much anybody who's interested in being a firefighter, to seriously consider it. That
Absolutely.
It may not be the right thing for everybody, but there's certainly a diverse number of opportunities, right? Whether it be in the medical field or just as a firefighter, or even when you get up higher in rank, really it's a management. There are management positions involved. So it could even be someone who's interested in organizational structure, managing. How was it that you went from being a local firefighter to being interested in being an advocate at the state level? Because that has to be a big jump to make, a real, a challenge. You can't.
Yeah, no, it's just I would say half the battle is just showing up. So, as a young firefighter, the older firefighters, I guess, looking at myself now, would mentor the younger firefighters and see who's interested in what. Just start coming to meetings, whether it be definitely start at your local union meetings, then go to your state union meetings, and then your international stuff. And it just all, you start paying attention, seeing how things working, and then one day, because you're always there, you'll find out that a position opens up, and they'll see that you're there and say, hey, why don't you reach out for this? And your own self-interest too, to progress. And maybe you'll see something, I'd love to do that one day. I like where I'm at as a legislative agent. This is my sport, politics, union, firefighting. So, people on Sundays are watching football and stuff. I'm watching Meet the Press, Face the Nation, and things. So this is my niche. This is what I love to do. Every day's my Super Bowl, as some people at our office tell me. So.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, truly, when you love what you're doing, especially anything to do with the field of politics, every day is like Christmas.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of what you make of it. Absolutely. And now I imagine you've seen some great accomplishments that you and your organization have achieved in the years that you've been involved. What kind of legislation, say in the last decade or so, have you guys managed to get through that has greatly helped your membership?
Sure. No, I mean, obviously the one that was done back in the day, cancer presumptive, heart-lung presumptive, those are huge. I mean, our job is stressful and we're exposed to a lot of things, and those are the fundamentals of what we need when we're out, so we can come home to our families and continue on after retirement and actually enjoy retirement at some point. Right. But definitely those things that we've revamped recently, one of the things we've done is, believe it or not, because back when there was the cancer presumptives weren't covering female organs and reproductive organs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was you just didn't realize it. So with the fire service evolving all these years, so now we were able to go back and get legislation passed that updated our cancer presumptives to make it correct for today's world.
I mean, that's I hadn't really thought about, but in the time that you've been a firefighter, there's been a tremendous change. There were probably very few women firefighters in the state when you first got on.
When I first got on, there was. Yeah, now
they've come a long way.
Yep. Now there's female firefighters everywhere. And firefighters are firefighters. Everyone, we all do the same job.
Right. Yep. Right. Are there many female firefighters who have managed to work their way up the management level at this point?
Yep, absolutely. Across the state and the country, there's fire officers that are female firefighters everywhere. Yep.
That's great. Yep. That's great to hear. All right, so what else would you like to add? We've got a few minutes left here.
It does fly by.
5 minutes. Yeah, we have 5 minutes or so left. What would you like to share with people out there about the advocacy work that you do on behalf of the firefighters? I think, people. We talked earlier. We used the word lobbyist, and people have a negative connotation about lobbyists. But lobbyists are basically people who just advocate for a cause for people who, in your case, people who do a vitally important job that most people don't really fully understand oftentimes and don't fully grasp the risks that you guys take every day. And a lot of the legislation that you pursue is really things to help mitigate the risks and create a situation where it's safer for your membership, right?
No, absolutely. Where to begin? There's a lot of issues out there that we see as firefighters, and a lot of it, unfortunately, it has to be fixed legislatively, and to do that takes a lot of work. I'm just a firefighter, and that's one advantage I think we bring to the table when we're up at the State House advocating for our members, because there are lobbyists up there that's their job, their everyday work, their company, their organization.
Your everyday job is you're a firefighter.
I'm a firefighter first, right? So and I advocate for firefighters that because I see it firsthand in what we do every day. So when you're up there advocating for it, you can tell. I mean, lobbyists are paid positions where they're hired by some group, organization, or whichever, and they go in and do that, and then they go home after.
Right.
But I'm up there advocating, and we're up there advocating for firefighter issues and firefighter themselves, their families. That's why I look at it. And it's something that I think we bring to the table that's different, and we get a better insight and more. And they know it up there. They can sense it and feel it and tell us how it's more of a, it's real. It's more real.
Well, that's it. I mean, our elected officials are not stupid. They know what guy has hands-on experience, who's run into a burning building and who hasn't, and which one has more realistic influence. I mean, I think when every thing that you advocate for affects you personally as well, whereas a lobbyist is basically just pushing for things that advocate whoever's hired them.
Yeah, hired gun.
You're actually advocating for the people who you work with on a daily basis, your friends and neighbors and...
Sure. No, when we, say occupational cancer, I mean, when we're advocating for presumptives and the benefits to make sure that after our members pass away of cancer, that their families are taken care of. And we know those members. I know those members personally, whether it be here in Attleboro, whether it be across the state. And it makes it for a different conversation. So when people, say things to you or legislators say things to you, look at it more of a broad thing. It's like, no, start pulling out all those palm cards that you go to funerals every week. I mean, we're going to funerals a lot. And, so they try to make it more of a, it's, people die of cancer all the time. Really, how about this person I know and this person, like these are the people that I was working with yesterday and then I
That's right, because oftentimes those are not people that are any older than you are.
No.
And the sad truth is that, a lot of firefighters who retire don't necessarily live all that much longer to enjoy their retirement. People will talk about, well, these guys have all these pensions and benefits, but a lot of them are barely able to ever benefit from any of that, really.
And that's why I said to make sure their families are taken care of, because the majority of the time, once we retire as firefighters, and that's why part of our presumptive gives us 5 years after. So and that's another thing we've been advocating for, another priority legislation, where after you retire, 5 years after you get cancer, you're still covered. So obviously people are living longer because of that technology and medicine, all things. So now we're trying to bump that up to 10. But within 5 years of retiring, majority get cancer and unfortunately pass away, and then their families are left there. They don't even get to enjoy their retirement with them. So that's why we make sure that if we do anything right, we take care of the families.
Yeah. Well, Paul, you and all your coworkers do a vitally important job for our community, and I, as well as I'm sure all the people out there in the audience, greatly appreciate everything you do every day. The risks and sacrifices you make so that the rest of us are safe, because people like me and most of the people out there are never going to run into a burning building. And I'm glad there are people like you who are willing to do that on our behalf. And I'd like to thank you so much for joining us this evening. And if there's people interested in contacting you, is there a way in which they could reach you?
Sure. I have my cell phone and email. I don't know.
If you want
sure.
To give them...
508-922-4394 and paul.jacques@pffm.org. So, but it is a team effort. It's whether it be at the firehouse or up at the State House, it's a team effort across the board, what we do every day for our members, and thank you for the time.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, my friend. And thank all of you for tuning in this week to People It's Good to Know.
There are so many people out there who want to volunteer and find a way in which they can help.
We've got some brilliant people that have come out of the school system here in Attleboro.
You actually perform as an elected official the way people should.
There are no agendas. Nobody has any projects that they have to complete, but we're just sharing information